Welcome to the Center for Universal Oneness. We are an open, welcoming, spiritual community that supports all faith traditions and invites you to join us on your spiritual journey. We host different speakers each week to guide and inspire us. We are guided by universal principles of acceptance of all that is sacred, and we strive to live in the oneness of love. Please enjoy this presentation.
Well, this morning we're happy to have back with us Reverend Donna Johnson. She's a good friend of ours and we've had her multiple times. It's always great to have you back, Donna. I understand in Tucson you've been having some pretty hot weather there already, and most of your snowbirds are flying away. So it looks like you're getting ready for a summertime. Donna's topic today is soul friendship. And she's also celebrating a book that she recently has put out called Spirit Spun Wisdom. So I'm really looking forward to hearing you, Donna, and finding out about this soul friendship. So take it away, Donna.
Thank you. Okay, let me hit got it here. Got it. Okay. Well, I will tell you what sparked this. For me, I had a former spouse die, and that's why I went back to Tennessee to attend his memorial service, even though we really haven't spoken in 15 years. I've loosely kept in touch with his son, and he considers me a mother figure. And if I ever had a child, I guess it would be Paul. So anyway, that I started thinking about soulmates, soul journeys. We come and we go in this dimension, and I just started delving down in it and asking myself, what do we really mean when we say soul? You know, a loving soul, a mean soul, an old soul, a young soul. There's so many souls out there and references to it. It's kind of like the word love. What are we really trying to talk about? So I went to Revealing Word to see what Charles Fillmore said about the subject. And Charles Fillmore basically said it's the sum total of consciousness. It's your subconscious, which contains the storehouse of memories, and your conscious mind as well. It comes together to make your soul. And then I started thinking about memories. Where do memories come from? Which led to reincarnation and past lives and the soul's journey as it goes through the various lifetimes. And I recall having a conversation with Reverend Jim Gaither, who was my faculty advisor when I was in ministerial school. And so Jim and I were talking, and I said, well, what about the people who remember past lives? And he looked at me and he said, well, what makes you think that it's that it's a memory of your life? And that I have thought about the rest of my life. Since that time, I've been thinking about it. Basically, what I'm thinking about is ownership, how we assume ownership of identity, my soul versus your soul, my life versus your life, and so on and so forth. So that brought to mind basically the Buddhist way of looking at soul and what soul is. The Buddhists, I'm sure you've heard this, most of you've heard this, that it's consciousness is like a wave that crashes on the shore and then goes back into the vast ocean. So then I thought, well, what if my existence here is not about the evolution of my personal soul? It's not about my consciousness and my karma, but what if it's more universal in that the wave that spits out has some elements of this life lived over here by somebody and this life lived over here by somebody. And I, in my existence here, am here really to heal and to clean up the pollution, so to speak. So, and for every time I can do that for myself, I cleanse the ocean, which started out pure, but through separation and this sense of ownership of I, reality has become distorted when it comes to the spiritual understanding. One of my favorite quotes is from I can't remember who it is. It's a Buddhist teacher. And he just said, "Why are you so unhappy? Because 99.9% of all you think, say, and do is about yourself. And there isn't one." That's another one that stuck with me. So for me, the journey into the exploration of soul is shifting my perception of what soul really is. Because I do believe in our current understanding, it's a linear progression of an individual. And we can say, oh, I had a past life and I was Cleopatra and I was this and I was that. And I've been reading these books about children when they first come into this dimension, so to speak. They have memories of past lives, but people don't take it seriously. And so they often, the children just eventually forget about it and become acclimated to this particular reality. So it's been quite a week for me as I have really contemplated all these things. From the linear perspective, we evolve, right? We live this life, we glean all the wisdom we can, understanding, we evolve into greater and greater expressions of what it means to be a spiritual soul. And then eventually we get to the point where, as Jesus did and many other masters, ascended into heaven. This ascension, and does it mean we leave this dimension and go on to another dimension and start all over again? I'm reminded that Jesus said, "In my Father's house are many mansions," and I always thought that meant dimensions. What I'm playing around with now is just the idea that this is it. This is it. And what I mean by that is, according to our beliefs, is it done for us, by us? Our beliefs will shape our precepts, our perceptions, if you will, and they act as filters. So there are many dimensions right here within this one. And we can see this all the time with people who have special psychic abilities and so on and so forth. But all of this is available to us, I believe, but according to our belief, is it done unto us? So when we declare a thing as so, and we've been taught to do this as spiritual people, decree it to be so, then it's true for us. And that is true. I have come, at least I believe, here we are, beliefs. I believe the best thing I can do for myself is just surrender and say, I really don't know. I believe this, but I don't know. Because the minute we say, I know, then we're not open to any further understanding or a different perspective, really. So I'm practicing now each day, just saying, I know what's mine to do, or maybe I don't. I find myself in a situation that I didn't expect, and I might say, what is mine to do here in order to bring greater understanding, healing, a realization that there is no you and me we're all the same being, just playing different parts. And that would take away the judgment for me of other people and how we have opinions. The opinions, the sea of opinions is endless. To the point where I don't even want to have an opinion. So anyway, I have been talking a lot about that to myself. There's a joke. I have a joke for you. Juan had his family and his friends always telling him how to live his life. So he withdrew to have some soul searching. After all, it takes one to know one. Funny, huh? I can know myself, and whatever I discover about myself is also true for all people. I really do believe that. So all people may not be exemplifying, expressing, but we're only one being. And so what does that really mean? To me, that means there's one soul, just one soul. And it is expressing as all of us. We're on our journeys, so to speak, but the journey is for all of us. In other words, at this point in my life, this is all up for discussion. At this point in my life, I don't believe I'm one soul on a linear path to enlightenment and a state of heaven somewhere other than here. I believe that each expression is just the now moment. It's the wave. The water goes back in the pool, gets circulated around, spits out another wave. And some waves are very forceful, dark, maybe even violently hitting the shore of consciousness. And other waves are very gentle and purifying. And wherever we are, we do the work of the wave that we are expressing as. So I don't know if any of this makes sense to you guys, but I thought we could just talk about it. Let me just, I have a few notes here. This format on Zoom I find more informal than standing up and speaking to a crowd. So I really like interaction. And I know you have a question and answer afterwards, but we could do it at any time. Soul is impacted by karma, the ethical consequences of one's actions, good or bad. When you look up karma in the Revealing Word, Charles Fillmore had a negative slant on it, like karma is something bad. And if you align with the Christ within you, then you don't have any karma and you come out perfectly perfect. My perspective is that karma is both good and bad. Karma is just the consequences of how we have chosen to frame our experiences. If we could ever get to the point where we could just accept our experiences as they arise, we might be able to learn. But we have so many filters and projections that we often miss the real message that could be coming from divine mind, that could be coming from the allness. So that spiritual work has a lot to do with surrender and the realization that I know that I don't know. And can I wear that like a loose garment so that I can discover different aspects of what it means to be a spiritual being having a human experience. So, okay, well, let's see. Perception is not just how we see reality, it's how we create our reality. That's true, because on a quantum level, it's infinite possibilities. and we can choose anything. But because we have our filters and our beliefs, it narrows it down. So, and we create our reality. Beliefs, excuse me, are the psychological building blocks of our perception. When we adopt a belief, it becomes part of our structure, thus affecting our perception and how we process energy. The posture of knowing is often a protection. Yeah, we push away deeper understandings because we don't want to be vulnerable. We want to know that we know that we know. And that can shut us off because new insights aren't going to come if we're not receptive. If we just say, oh, I know that, I've learned that. And even what unity teaches and other metaphysical principles, I believe everything works up to a point, and then that's a springboard for greater understanding, greater healing, greater unification. And you go from the metaphysical into the mystical into who knows what. And it all happens in this dimension. Okay. Throwing this at you, right? Okay. Rather than clinging to a certain prescription, is the best word I can come up with, of this is how it is, and this, first we do this, and then we do this. And if we're just open and receptive to our own experience, if we just ask in the moment, what is happening here that I need to see? I have a friend in my church who says her mantra basically is, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And with that type of prayer of surrender, insights come. But if we're not open to that, then we live ordinary lives day to day when we're swimming in a sea of miracles and just don't see it. So back to my ex-husband who died. He was a person who was he was a Pisces, sign of the fish, two fish, one swimming to the depths and one swimming to the surface. And when I think of him, that's what I think of, because he could be very, very spiritual and very, very shallow in a lot of ways. And that sounds like a judgment, but that's how our lives played out. And we definitely had a mission together. And when it was finished, it was finished. So when we talk about soulmates and soul people, it's not just a romantic thing. Your soul person is every person you meet. And I do believe some people, because of the energetic vibration, we do lock in more. And maybe we have been twin waves on the shore, so to speak, and there's a recognition of the energy there, but I think it's an energetic recognition, one soul to another. And intention, what is the work to do? You know, we're going to clean up the pollution in the sea of consciousness, and that's what we're here for. And that pollution is all of us, and that purity is all of us. And so I'm not separate. Basically, that's the point. There is no individual soul. We are the soul. That's it.
You're muted, Doug.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Before we go on, are we going to do a meditation then, Donna?
Would you like me to lead you in a meditation?
Please.
Sure. I would love to do that. Okay. Oh, as we take in a breath, we know that it is the divine spirit that is breathing our bodies, and this is automatic. This is part of the subconscious that goes on by virtue of the spirit in each of us. Indeed, everything breathes in and breathes out, expands and contracts. This is part of the movement of the divine presence. And so we allow ourselves to be in the flow of the energy, in the expansion and the contraction. We know that all is well. In spite of challenges we may have, everything comes to bless us. And is for the purpose of the soul's expression in its original form of pure life, pure joy, pure love, absolute peace, knowing all is well. So we thank you, sweet spirit, for bringing us together this morning, for guiding our thoughts. We are open and receptive, knowing that communication is on every level through every